Recording in progress.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. You're tuning into the Might As Well podcast. What's going on? I'm here with my friend Evan Senior, and I'm really grateful to be here, and I'm excited to start this off. Let's go. What's going on? We said we were going to start this podcast off talking about the Illuminati, but I also want to talk about what you're wearing. If anybody watches the Lex Friedman podcast, I told him, I was like, he doesn't have to, I was like, you don't have to be Lex Friedman. He's like, what should I wear? I was like, you don't have to be Lex Friedman, who wears a suit for every podcast. But now he's wearing a suit kind of inspired from the Might As Well logo. He kind of looks like me in the logo, which is kind of tough, but I'm grateful. He looks great. Next podcast we're doing together, I said that I'm going to wear a suit too, so it's going to be dope.
This is my first podcast experience, so might as well have to dress the part.
Might as well.
Might as well.
Let's go.
This was definitely inspired by Wes, though, for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely, 100%.
Someone's coming up. Somebody's coming up. Yo.
Come here, Colin. Come here.
Come here. We got a little guest to start this off.
Like, this outfit is the
Say something to the
might
mic.
as well.
How are we doing today?
I think everybody watching is doing pretty good.
If you're tuning into the Might As Well podcast, you're doing good.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about the Illuminati. What do you know about the Illuminati, Kush?
I know nothing.
You don't know nothing?
No.
He's just not trying to get whacked. This guy. I don't know nothing about the Illuminati.
We were
I saw you doing that earlier. What the fuck are you talking about?
we were chatting about it earlier, though.
Yeah.
The movie Now You See Me. I mean, when I do think of the Illuminati, I think of that film. Now
Yeah.
You See
What
Me.
makes you? Because I saw that movie, but what makes you think of that?
think-
Because I kind of forget. There's like a secret eye, like that's like they're like fucking just kind of symbol like that shows like
Yeah.
that you know what's going on if you do that. But talk about it more because I kind of forget.
Just the whole secrecy behind the eye.
Yeah.
And they weren't saying Illuminati, but hearing about the
Yeah.
eye and how secretive it was.
Yeah.
It was just pretty cool to see it put it on a movie, though.
And they put that stuff in the movies
It
because
just makes
they
me
know.
wonder, how do we get information about that to make a film like it?
Yeah.
You know,
And if you have the resources to make a movie like that and are inspired to write that and make that, and all the actors that were in that, they know.
where does that inspiration come from?
Yeah. There's so much stuff like that. I saw a Tom and Jerry cartoon, and it was like they go to Hollywood, and it's like these weird like Egyptian gods that come, and they're supposed to be like the leaders of Hollywood, and there's like these execs, and the exec looks just like Harvey Weinstein, and he's like, he just is like promoting like bad stuff and all that stuff, and
Yeah.
like it's just like so much truth in just cartoons. They put so much truth in these movies and stuff,
I know.
and people just watch and they just think that it's movies and it's just fictional stories, but all these ideas come from real things. Everything that there's a story about, like, it exists somewhere.
Yeah, we're jumping right into it.
Yeah, we're
I love
jumping
it.
right into it.
I mean, I would expect nothing else.
Yeah.
Else. I feel like we're gonna get the boys walking back and forth all the time.
Yeah.
That's a different dynamic you get for this podcast. though.
Yeah. He's chilling. Getting high in there.
Yeah. Just living the dream.
Living the dream. Yeah. What do you think is the American dream?
The American dream. See, I've never really contemplated that question because I grew up American, and I feel like
Aren't you supposed to have the American dream then if you grew up American?
nah. See, that's what I'm saying. I don't think so.
You think it's more for like immigrants?
I think that the American dream, the concept, wanting to live it, wanting to make it in America, came from, not growing up American.
Yeah. I feel that. Especially making friends with people that didn't grow up in this country. Like, I
Yeah.
feel that more where, like, the appeal of, like, being here is because you didn't grow up here. But
And that's
I still think it
definitely where
exists
comes
for
from.
people, like, that grow up here. Especially because there's people that grow up here that don't live, like, great lives, and they still, like, want to make a better life for
Right.
life for themselves.
Right.
So I think that's like, so I guess the American dream, and it's like capitalism, like just get rich or something, like. But the American dream means something for everybody. I think if you just like looked at it like, I think the American dream is just like to be successful and like just like have a comfortable life. And I think like if you think about human history, like it's not too many times in human history where people just get to live. I guess you could say no one's ever lived as comfortable of a life as like we're living right now. I would argue that.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the American dream, just to have like a comfortable life, white picket fence, family, and all that stuff. But
yeah, and that's just something I've.
But then you can argue like, oh, does it really exist? How obtainable is it? All that stuff. Peace. Pushing P.
Pushing P. No, like that's. I do think about that from time to time. How, you know, the American dream is something I've never really thought about because I did grow up American.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that too, and it's kind of like outdated. I feel like cause like I said, the white picket fence, all that stuff. Like,
right.
You kind of think it's like 50s, like white neighborhood. Like, is that really a real thing anymore?
Yeah. Also, you could say too that the American dream is different for everybody.
Yeah, definitely. And everyone's dreams are different. Just not even any country that you're from or anything. Just the dream.
It's kind
dreams of being a human in this reality where you can create whatever you want.
Right.
Damn.
Yeah, it's definitely something interesting to think about.
Definitely.
I've never thought about it like that.
So we're in the new year now. I really feel like that new year energy like coming up, like where like new life is gonna come. It's gonna start to get warmer and just a whole year of seasons and all that stuff. I feel that energy coming more now.
Yeah, I think that's a reoccurring thought for a lot of people is, you know, these first couple days and soon to be weeks of the new year just feel different and a lot more promising. And, you know, if I want people to know, like, if you feel that, you got to hold on to it. It can't die out. You got to take that energy throughout your entire year.
How many people does that die out where they're like, oh, I'm going to go to the gym?
That's what I'm saying.
And
like that was me in the past, where my energy was there kind of for the beginning of the new year and just died out. Like, imagine you carried that thought that, hey, like, that tingle, like, oh my gosh, something's happening with my life. Like, why would you want that to die out?
Because it's really not a new year. It's just another day, and like, but we have that like fiscal, material way of measuring it. You know what I mean? So like that's why it's so easy for it to just feel like the same old, and stick to the old habits. But if you really commit to like a new lifestyle and new goals and doing new things and keep that energy up, not even about what year it is or new year, but like once you have momentum with your new goals, like it's just gonna keep spiraling and it's gonna fucking do great things.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. You have that feeling. You have to just wake up and be reminded of that thought process. Yeah. Of how it just makes you feel every single day you wake up. Just like keep going.
So what have you been up to, and like what are you doing in 2022, and where do you see yourself going and doing for the rest of the year?
That's a very good question.
Yeah. Show the world what you're up to. Tell the world what you're up to.
These past couple of days, it's just kind of mindset design. It's really the ultimate thing. You know, what's your master vision? What do you really want to accomplish?
That's so important because your mindset is going to guide you through the highs and the lows. It's so important. Like, I'm so grateful for the mindset I have. Like, I said that to myself today because I had stuff happen to me where I was like, if I didn't have my mindset where I was at, like, that could have been like a huge blow or something. Right. And it's like nothing. So mindset's very important. So you've just been building that. Yeah,
I mean, doing little things that kind of just ultimately build up, you know, your master vision. What are you trying to figure out? But definitely focusing on that a lot and kind of taking that on every single day. Just being able to wake up with that master vision in vision and using it to do good in the day and be productive.
You gotta know where you're going to get there.
Yeah. But Colin and I, like we just been talking and just making a lot of moves that are just gonna, be good for us in the future.
Yeah, it's good to have that connection too, like, and just like be with people. That's how I feel sometimes. Like I don't, like it's like right now it feels good to have another perspective to like bounce ideas. Like sometimes when you're just in your head, like you don't know because you don't have that outside perspective, and it's like not that it's like you got to stick with like your own gut on things, but sometimes it's good to like bounce ideas. Like sometimes I see just things you're doing creatively and I'm like, oh, that's I like how he did that, and like same probably goes for like
that's why having a podcast like that, just to be able to bounce ideas off each
exactly
other.
Like when I first started doing it, it was just me sitting in front of the camera like talking, and like I think it was kind of because I was like, I'm starting this no matter what, like I'm doing this myself, I'm gonna start this. But like, and also inspired by Tim Dillon. I don't know if you watch his podcast, but he just like basically rants by himself. Like he has a producer, but he just like rants for like hours. And so I was like, oh, I can do it by myself. But as I started doing more and more by myself, I was like, I definitely want somebody to do this with me and like bounce ideas off of and just flow with, and like, and it kind of takes the pressure off me. Like I'm just like.
Right.
Half like when I'm like before the podcast, I'm like, what are we gonna talk about? And I'm just like, well, at least I'm doing it with Evan, so half of it's gonna be shit he has to make up. So it's like half the pressure off of me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just excited for us to be doing this.
Yeah,
that's what it comes down to. My thought process through it all.
Yeah.
Like this is not me hopping on the might as well.
Yeah, the might as well.
Like this is me starting something good with you.
Yeah.
Like just like hanging out and just talking and, like I said, bouncing ideas off each other.
Yeah. It was crazy when we met last year. Now we met in 2020, but we like met up again at the Don Toliver concert. I went to $1 Don Toliver concert in North Jersey, and then later that week his album was coming out on like Thursday night, Friday night, whatever, Friday morning, whatever you want to call it. And the concert was that day, so I was like, oh, it was in Philly, so I was like, oh, I gotta go to that. And then I just like went. My friend ended up selling a ticket in this group chat we were in. He was like, anybody want to go to this? Like, I can't go, I got to sell my ticket. So I got a good deal on the ticket, and I was like, it's perfect. So then I went by myself, just like, I'm gonna rage and have a good time. Like I don't need to go with anybody. And I ended up meeting with you and a bunch of other people I knew there actually, which was cool. And we just like started talking. And I remember I was thinking about this earlier. You were like, I think I saw your face and I was like, yo, what's up? And then you were just like, I don't think I knew your name, and you were like, Evan. Yeah. Like you think you were like understood.
But like the way I looked at it, it was that realization that, oh my gosh, like this is the start of something great right here. Like I haven't seen Wes in the longest time. And
you knew, because like when we went to parties and stuff, we always talked about like cameras and stuff. Yeah. I feel like honestly, because every time I remember, I asked you like multiple times, like, yo, do you have an Instagram or something? You were like, nah, I don't have social media.
Yeah. Look at that. I mean, these past couple of days.
And you were like, and I was like,
media.
You were literally like the only kid I knew. Like, how sad is that? You were the only kid I like met that like didn't have social media. And like, but like that, you always stuck out. You stood out for that. But like, how sad is that? Like, you're the only person. Yeah. And
it's definitely interesting. Wow,
but I just knew you. I had your number too, which was cool because you didn't have social media. I had your number, because then we got split up at the concert. Obviously,
I'm like, I gotta call Wes right now. I gotta.
No, I fucking called you. I called you. You would have probably just fucking went home.
I don't even know.
And I called.
Nah, there's no way I just didn't.
I called you, and you were just like. You were like, who is this? I was like, it's Wes. You're like, oh, bet.
Yeah, I think that the entire night was just so wild for me because I'm so.
Yeah, you knew I was in the cameras because I would bring the cameras to parties and stuff. And you're in one of the vlogs I made from like it's like a year old now, but you're in it, and like I look back at it, and I was like, I was dope that I threw Evan in there.
See?
It's all
And that's
coming
what I'm
together.
saying. Like when I saw you at Don Tolliver, I was
Yeah.
like, this is the start of something great. I haven't
Yeah.
seen you in so long. But the
Yeah.
moment I saw you, like at just a random party at one of our friends' house, I saw you with the camera, and I usually bring the camera around,
Yeah.
but I didn't bring it that night. And I saw somebody doing the same thing I was doing, and I'm like, okay, like I'll meet him sometime in the night, but he's already my guy. Like that's so
Yeah.
cool. And then look
It's
at us
crazy.
now.
Yeah.
We've come a long way.
Now University Recap, Wesley and Productions, Might As Well Podcast, University Recap Podcast. 2022, craziness.
Yeah, I mean we're kind of just building a community here.
Yeah.
A community of really good people.
Yeah. That's how I feel. Like
that's the
anybody
goal.
that watches, anybody that does anything, like I don't look at people as like fans or anything like that. Like everyone's just like equals like in this community.
I think
like,
community is really big going into 2022 too. You know, who are you putting yourself around? Like who are you listening to?
Yeah.
Who are you investing your time into?
Yeah.
Like putting yourself around a very good group of people.
And I saw this TikTok and it was like, why do you post to social media? It was like, you don't even talk to the people. You don't even talk to some of the people that like look at your stories and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, think about that. And for some people, that's probably like, that makes them think like, oh, what am I doing? And I thought about it too. And I thought about it like, because I know why I post on social media, and you know too, you post a lot of positive content. And you said like you're very aware. You weren't even on social media for a long time, so when you came back to it, you were like, I have a purpose while I'm on this platform. So you want to push positivity and inspire people, and like that's why I post too. That's why like I post videos of me talking. That's why I do the podcast. Why I do a lot of stuff where people would be like, oh, you're putting yourself out there. I wouldn't be able to do that. The reason I do it is because I just like want to share ideas and like want to talk about stuff, and there's things I think about every day that people don't think about, and like I take for granted, but people like it's like far out ideas. Like that's something like I was just talking to my friend one time, and he was like, you ever do shrooms? And he was like, and it was just because I was talking about far out stuff, but like to me it was just normal, but to him it was like crazy ideas that made him think about like shrooms. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
It's just funny. That's funny.
Nah, definitely. I mean, I can talk about that for a little bit.
Yeah.
Just being off social media for a year showed me a lot, you know, mentally. But the one thing I did miss was, you know, making those connections, networking, and being able to influence X amount of people just by saying, hey, have a great day today.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think about. It's like those little things that people put into their routine. If you want to post on your feed, you know, why not have it be something positive or something to look back on?
Yeah, and not just something mindless like.
Yeah, I mean it's you can make videos to go viral on any platform, but is it going to have meaning in the long term? And that's why
it's like, are you following trends, or are you trying to start your own movement, you know?
Right. No, yeah, and that's definitely one of the biggest goals for being back on obviously Instagram. It's weird to think about. I just don't think people like think about it as a whole, social media a lot anymore.
A lot of people are asleep.
Yeah.
And think we're asleep
Stay
too.
woke.
We're asleep too. You really just have to be aware of what you're doing at every second. Like just be like, holy shit. We're talking in the mics, we got cameras, we got a light, we got candles, like we're here right now. Like be as mindful as possible, be as present as possible, like be as in your body as possible and conscious of like what you're doing, and you will start to realize, why do I wake up and I go right on my phone right when I wake up? Like just if you just start to, because some people like aren't even aware, it's subconscious, and they're just in these habitual states. Like, why do I, every time I get anxious, I grab my vape and I start ripping, you know what I mean? Like people like really like, and like you would just start to realize stuff about yourself, and like
you just get so accustomed to it.
Yeah.
Just like waking up, turning over, and just going on Instagram.
Yeah.
And I've definitely done it like 1 or 2 days
Recently, yeah. Well, like
just to be
Since
back
you've been
home,
back?
I mean, it's like I'm connecting with other people. Like it's positive and negative. Negative, it's one of those little things I do when I wake up. Just to
Sometimes
see.
I feel like it's negative, even just all the positive content. Like, I'll have like good, inspirational, spiritual, positive, like knowledge coming at me, but then you're just throwing one 15-second video talking about this. Then you scroll one 15-second video talking about that, and it's like, even
It's
if it is like
mindless.
positive, like it's too much to just take in at once. Like,
Yeah, like for you to see that, and then 2 hours later, you don't remember what you saw.
Yeah.
I feel like that's where people don't really understand. Like, what's the point of it?
you're like, holy shit, like I might have felt spiritual in the moment, but I was just in a fucking trance, because what did I retain from that video?
Yeah.
Like, unless maybe you take a note or something, or like the video does actually really stick with you, and you take a mental note of it or something. But there's
that's
that
the one
happens
thing I
to me.
miss
Yeah, but
about
that happens to
Instagram.
me too, where like I watch a video and I'm like, whoa, that video like has an effect. But then there's other times where like I couldn't tell you what I was watching. Like,
Yeah. There's definitely a couple. Just the fact that I can save a funny video whenever I want on Instagram and just go and look at it
Yeah.
later. Like that's
Yeah.
I did miss that. I mean, I love memes.
and
love
I
memes. Who
really
doesn't?
think social media started out like as a good thing. Like it was total. I think it was
Yeah,
like
I
totally
agree.
kind of. Well, I can't say it was totally pure, but because like it started as hot or not. You know that, like, college girls, which girls are hot, which girls are not. But I do think
Yeah.
it was like supposed to be like a good thing, and like just for people to interact, and like just on this cool new internet and computer thing, and
Right.
and now it's just turned into something that's like the whole world revolves around it now. You're talking about crypto and NFTs and the metaverse, and it's like you can make money online, and it's crazy what things are like now.
I know, and it's just to see it, the evolution of it over the past 10 years, like what Instagram started as, what Facebook
Yeah.
started as, and then what it provides for communities
Yeah.
like crypto to get started, like the NFT space
Yeah.
to get started.
Have influence on elections and all that stuff,
Yeah.
like crazy. And just
The influence it has on people. I kind of
Yeah.
preach that a lot, but I want people to understand that.
even your
It's-
influence, just posting positive stuff, like it does have an influence on
and
people.
that's
Like,
the goal. Is
Yeah.
because with all the media that you take in on a day-to-day basis, it's just so bad for your mental health.
yeah. Seeing hot girls, unobtainable standards, just hate, violence,
Yeah.
people making fun of each other, just all
I know,
stuff.
it's sad. It's sad.
Yeah.
Like I just imagine an entire platform with straight positivity,
Yeah.
just bouncing back. The fact that you can have social media and bounce back positive comments
Yeah.
to people all across the world. Like, why is that not happening?
Yeah.
That's definitely a thought right there. Like, why is that just not happening?
Because they don't want positivity. They don't want people coming
Right.
together and being like,
Yeah, right. They just want to be able
Yeah.
to influence your decision.
yeah.
Think about
Because
it.
when
that
people
way.
come together, people start going against the people that push negativity
Mhm.
and push fear and push all the bad stuff.
See, it's easy to be negative, and it's just so hard to be positive.
Yeah.
People just go with the easy. But sometimes being positive, putting yourself out there. Wild thing, being on social media for a year, going back on and just going for it, spreading, that positivity. Like, it's hard to do that. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty hard to do that.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna roll.
It's
with
hard
it.
to push positivity, you feel like?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's easy to be
'Cause
negative.
people think it's corny. Isn't it sad, like, our society's so negative that, like, if you push positivity, push P, like,
pushing P.
like, it comes off as corny.
Yeah, and that's the sad part.
Yeah. I'm pushing P.
Wow.
Pushing
We
P.
should make that pushing positivity, pushing
Yeah.
P.
Maybe
Like this right here, this podcast, you and I, we're pushing
Yeah.
P. Yeah, we're pushing P.
We're pushing P.
We really are.
We're pushing P here at the Might As Well podcast.
No, that's definitely my goal though for being on social media.
Yeah.
I mean, if I am going to go back on my socials, I'm going to try to be positive
Yeah.
and just see. I mean, and that's when people say like, "I love what you're doing," like, keep doing like that. That's
Yeah.
the feedback that I need. Like that's the positivity
it's almost
that I
like
need.
they're hyping you up because you had an effect on them and hyped them up in a certain way. So it's like positivity going around.
Like and that, I've always been that person. Like I always want to take care of my guys, make sure everyone's always having a good time, everyone's healthy, everyone's safe. And I thought to myself, hey, maybe you can try that same thing for 500, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000 people across the world. Like why not?
1 billion souls.
Because I look at influencers now and the power and influence in their name that they have, I just feel like they should be doing something more with that.
Yeah.
That's not like calling them out. But
Like I said, people aren't trying to get killed, bro.
man,
People don't try to get killed. Like I said,
everyone is trying to survive in their own way.
Yeah.
And they understand how they got to survive and they go for it.
And there's a lot of people like where they'll have their influence and they'll have their influence doing Minecraft and they're like, I'm just gonna push my Minecraft. I don't need to talk about politics and what's going on in the world because that's not my Captain Sparkles. I used to watch
Captain Sparkles back.
Yeah, I used to love Captain Sparkles.
Oh gosh,
that's
man.
It's not Captain Sparkles might be talking about trade, international trade and stuff like that, but I don't think that's his lane. I don't think he has to get involved when people start talking about that and talking about politics and all that stuff.
Just focus. I just focus on the my place.
My place. Yeah.
And people.
So I think that's a lot of influencers. Yeah. Because I mean, I don't think influencers are the most conscious people either. Really.
Nah. Yeah.
I don't know too many, but I feel like they're kind of like
what if I was that influencer that could be the one who was remembered for trying to spread positivity? Like that's one of the many goals of a YouTube, of a podcast.
And like to push it further, like by spreading positivity, what do you want to do? What do you want to happen in the world by you spreading that positivity?
Influence mindset. Know that you got to go about your day with love.
And
you got to go about your day being humble. Everything you got.
And what do you think would happen if people started living like that?
I don't know. And I'm definitely trying to see what would happen if that were to happen.
That's tough.
Because just imagine that. Everyone's going about their day. Like bad things bring you down, but like you're still going about it positively.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel that.
Love
just making peace. Like that's something I heard. Like, don't like strive for happiness. Just maintain peace and like through the highs and lows, just have that peace like throughout and just accept that it's all a part of the human experience and like don't be like, oh, I'm trying to be happy 100% of my life, because that's not attainable, and it's not even like that's not normal to live like that. Like you're not meant to be happy, and in our society, like it's so fake. Like something weird about U.S. society, I feel like, is like how fake we are, like in weird ways. Like in society, we'll always be like, hi, how's it going, or something like that. Like we'll just like have these like robotic like we act like we hate each other, and like we're the most divided country ever and all this stuff, but then in public we all say the same robotic greetings to each other and all that stuff, you know what I mean? Like
that's why you kind of gotta mix it up. Just call that algorithmic. Hey, how are you?
Yeah.
I'm good. How are you? Good. Have a great day. Like mix it up a little bit, you know?
That's mixing it up?
No. I'm saying like mix it up. Say something else besides that.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say that's like the most basic.
No, yeah, no. I was exemplifying the most basic conversation.
Yeah.
Saying like what you up to? I don't know. Like I hope you have a great week.
Working in Wildwood this summer, like with people from other countries, like they were like, "Oh, you guys say all the same stuff." Like, like everyone here says the same shit, and I was just like, "Yeah, we're basic. We're basic.
We're basic. We're just part of this little algorithm we got going."
Yeah. So where do you see yourself going in 2022? Though, so you're back on social media. you're posting on YouTube, getting a lot of good feedback. Where do you see yourself going from here?
Like exactly what I'm doing right now. Just kind of keep going with that positivity train. But definitely focusing on university recap. I definitely want to go to different universities. That would be an adventure.
That'd be cool. I'm down to go.
Just to be able to travel around.
I'm down to go.
But helping people record a lot more memories.
That's really what it is.
I feel like I'm pushing that with the camera too.
And this is kind of different, but I was thinking about my pop-up. And shout out to my pop-up. This is a special moment for the podcast. I was just thinking about when he was making decisions in his life when he was younger, before my mom was even born, before obviously I was born, and like the decisions he was making led to me speaking right now on this microphone and you listening to it, anybody else listening to it. Like his decisions led to this moment right now and further moments in the future, because this podcast is going to last on in the future. So that's insane to think about. So I was thinking about like my decisions right now, and I'm living my life for my kids, for my grandkids, for my whole lineage. Like right now, even though it doesn't feel like it, I'm making decisions for a whole bunch of people, like future human beings. And that's so crazy. So like think about that. Like, so basically the point of that was like in the moment it might not feel special, but like right now could be the brewing of something so special that you don't even know. So like document these memories, like make the most out of right now, because you don't know what this could be doing.
You want to make him proud.
Yeah,
I believe in that too. That feels a lot what personally I do, and what a lot of people do is you want to make somebody proud, and how you think they would want you to accomplish that, you kind of go on that journey.
Yeah.
Like you're doing everything you're doing, the podcast and this and that, is trying to make him proud.
Yeah. And he was in the...
And you already made him proud because you started. And then
you would like him because he was in the photography. He got me into photography.
Just
like he always, literally always had the camera around like we do. Yeah. Like and I was thinking about him today. Yeah. I was thinking about him today and like what I said earlier about that. But I was also thinking about, he would always like, the way he lived his life, he would just travel and take pictures and like pretty simple life, like not super simple. Like he would, I mean, not that computers are really complex, but like he knew how to use computers and like not like super, I guess, not to get too caught up in that super simple, but not like a simple farm life or something. Like he was in society, but he had a simple life and he would just travel a little bit. Yeah. Like, I feel like that's a dream. When he retired, and like he would always be taking pictures and stuff. Like even of the little things, like even like the flowers outside of his house and stuff like that. And today, like I wanted to because I like taking pictures and editing them and posting them and sharing them. And like I had that like urge to do that, but I was like, I have no like new pictures that I would really like want to like post. And I was like, I really want to get out in the world and just like take a picture or something, like just do it. And like I looked up this picture I have in my room, and it's like me as a kid and my sister and my pop-up like when he was still alive. And like I was just like, wow, like that's like what I want to do right now is like what he used to do, just like travel, live his life. And like if he saw something cool while living his life, he would take a picture of it, he'd go back to his computer, download it, like print it out, like all cool stuff. And I realized like I'm like him, and then that made me start thinking more about his life. And like I realized like all his decisions like have led up to me having this thought. And it's crazy. And like it's just about all your ancestors. Like think about all the humans that have lived their lives and made decisions and had enough sex to create us like right now. And like just
we're part of a very long lineage.
Yeah.
And I just hope we're making
I'm grateful
them proud.
for all my ancestors that have led to this moment.
Yes. It's so true though. Like we're part of a very long lineage. And we're just trying to make them proud. You know? That kind of. Yeah,
and just not even like pride, just like respect and like
right.
acknowledgement. Which and just like love, not pride, just love. It's just out of straight love, because they did so much to lead to right now, and like, so like, and they like love us so much, like our ancestors love us so much, and they're like dead, lol, but they're dead, so like they're spiritual, so like they
still live in us though.
Yeah, like
spiritually.
they're spiritually with us, like in a way that we can't even comprehend. You know what I mean?
But like when they did have a body like this, how did they act? Did they do good for their time that they were here? I'm trying to do good for the time that I'm here.
Yeah,
Because
and there's sometimes there's like generational cycles that like they might want to see end in you, and like, or even if they don't want to see it, because they might, I don't know how like the afterlife and all that stuff works, but they might not be aware of it, so maybe they can't see it in you. Maybe they are aware of it, because in my personal opinion, like if you die, you're gonna get some more awareness. So like, not even screw that. Like, if you, I don't know, what was I saying?
You're thinking about like afterlife.
And yeah, like
I got a thought on that.
Yeah, generational cycles. Like, if they're not aware of it, even in the afterlife, it's still up to you to break it. Regardless of that, like, it's up to you to recognize things that like weren't healthy in your parents and your family and how they were raised and grandparents, all that stuff, and like any toxic stuff, and just be like, oh, this ends with me. Like, I'm not going to continue this when I raise my kids, because that happens all the time, where people are raised a certain way and then they have kids, and they might not even be conscious of it. They just think that's how you're supposed to like live. Like if you grow up with like
that's how they were raised,
parents fighting, like you think like you might get in relationships where you're fighting with your partner all the time and stuff like that. Like it's just stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, growing up, your parents have all the influence over you. It's how you're raised, and then you grow up and you don't know anything else but how you were raised.
Yeah.
And you get thrown into
so
college,
many people,
like, wow, like this is extremely different than how I grew up.
Where they'll have a traumatic experience, and like when they're younger, and they don't even realize, like, it's not until they're older or like have their own kids, so like they realize like, oh, that wasn't normal for that to happen to me.
Right.
That's so scary. And I think about that with like kids growing up in like the metaverse and stuff, and it's like, oh, they're only gonna know a digital world, so like there's people that are against the metaverse, and they're like, oh, I want to live a real life, which is totally valid, but they're saying that, and then like there's other people that go, oh, but there's gonna be there's kids already born like just into this digital world. You could argue we were, and like, that's so scary to me to think like kids are just, and that this is where you can argue it definitely happened to us and a bunch of people. Like, we were just born into this society, you know, like we didn't like, you know,
we had no choice.
There was somebody that had concerns about things in society that we had to go through like before we were born, but like we were still born through it and had to go through it. So like that's so scary to me to think like, oh, like kids are getting born into this. And what were we saying before that?
I'm not sure, but my thought with that, going along with that, is our generation is the one to turn the tide.
Yeah.
You know, how do we want our society to look in the next 10, 15 years? How do we want to raise our kids in the next 10, 15 years? Because
we gotta get some guts, man.
Yeah.
We really gotta, cause like, not even like when we're like super old, like we gotta recognize our power, and that we're gonna be the leaders going forward.
And
like,
that scares a lot of people.
We gotta recognize that now, though. It's really important to recognize that now before it's too late, because the older people that are running the world might do stuff where it might be harder for us. Like, we gotta recognize, like, not like stand in our power now that we're gonna be the leaders going forward.
Yeah, that scares a lot of people, but it is true.
Yeah.
We are the ones to kind of take over from our parents
and even
grandparents.
Kind of talking about the generational stuff, like I've been able to recognize stuff in my family where I'm like, oh, we need to be more positive, we need to be more this and that, and like where my parents have gone, oh, you've had a positive influence on me. So I think that can just be like that for a whole generation, just like where and that's what kids are supposed to be. Kids come into this world so pure and loving and just happy and like a just innate understanding of life, and then we just let the world, like in the Matrix and everything, like bring them down and be like, oh no, you're not supposed to create, you're supposed to sit still at a desk for 8 hours, and you're not supposed to be running around, that's bad to run around, and that's bad to talk in class. That's something I used to get in trouble for. Look at me, I got a fucking podcast now. Like fuck the system.
Yeah.
Fuck the system.
Hell yeah. We're just
Fuck
we
the
growing
system.
up in the system. Like
I would get in trouble for
system.
talking in class, spreading my ideas, sharing my mind. Fuck that shit. Fuck it.
Do your own thing. Free will. You have free will, which means you can do whatever you want.
Exactly.
How much influence over you is up to you. But if you know what you want to do in life, you have that free will to go ahead and do it. So why not do it?
Exactly.
And growing up, we were never taught that. And some could say, it was for our own safety growing up, because if we had the thought process that we have now, who
It wasn't
knows?
for our own safety. It was for that's the disguise of a lot of things going on the last couple of years.
Safety, yeah.
Oh, it's for your safety. Yeah, we're doing this for your safety. We got your best interest in mind. We were just worried about the danger of the dangerous world around you. We were just trying to keep you safe. Nah, they want to control you. They want to control your thoughts and make you an obedient being in this rat race game we got going on, and so you don't question, and like you think authority is outside of you. You don't have authority over yourself. You're not a sovereign being that knows your natural rights as a sentient human on this planet,
Yeah. Do I? No, that does make that really does emphasize that point right there.
Yeah.
That really does emphasize it. But
yeah.
we grew up and we didn't really have the choice that we do now, and now that we do, that should kind of but does scare people.
Yeah.
That we are here to follow in their footsteps, which goes back to influence. You have influence over everything you do.
Yeah.
So why not love first? Go about it with love, see what happens.
Yeah.
Because if it's bad, then it's
Yeah.
bad.
Love
Put energy towards
love
it.
is interesting too, and I've learned about love.
Mhm.
And people think love is like romantic love, but don't look at love like that. Just look at love as like the complete interest and like admiration. I was gonna say in love and use the word in the definition. What I mean?
Yeah.
Use the word in the definition of the word.
Yeah, I have a great thought about love.
Yeah, just like that complete, like, think if you love something, you're like really, and like a lot about it, like you're really like intrigued and like connected to it, and that's how I look at love. Like, love is just the interconnectedness of everything. Like, and I'm trying to explain it better. Like, it's so in love, like it's so like connected, and like you get what I'm saying. Like the universe is just pure love. It's just pure connection. Everything's connected. Everything knows everything about each other, and all that stuff. Like,
that's why I appreciate it. And
yeah,
a very good thing to think about is how love transcends time and space.
Yeah.
Ever seen Interstellar? Go watch it. Love
that's
transcends
what that's about.
time and space.
And people thought that was
Nothing
like
else.
a trippy. People thought that was like a trippy idea, but that's
Because
like
nobody
facts.
thinks about it. It is a fact.
Like people thought that was like, oh, what is Christopher Nolan making? You know what I mean? But
Like love transcends time and space.
yeah,
It's a crazy thought.
and I think he portrays it in a cool way with the characters and the way he does it. But that meaning, like love transcends time and space. Like of course it does. Like not even in a human way, just in that love definition. Like I said before, where it's like love isn't a human emotion. It's just, don't even look at it like that. Don't look at it like the romantic love. Like it has to be like
it is hard
it's
to
just
put
God is love.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
It is hard to put a definition on love.
Yeah. There's so many words, not even words. There's so many things, concepts where like you can't even talk about it. Just us having the conversation is taken away from what it really is.
Right.
And there's the saying in Taoism, like, the Tao that can be told is not the eternal Tao. Like, and the Tao means the way, so it's kind of just like the way of like life, and like it's like the way, but the eternal Tao, like the sacred way, like the big universal way, like the way that can be told, spoken about, talked about. Like it can't be. It's not the real Tao. It's not what it actually is.
Mhm.
Like what we're seeing right now, what we're hearing, it's all just an illusion. It's not what it actually is.
Yeah, that's something I really want to talk about more on my socials, is how every single thing that you are going to say is what you believe to be true, and that you put into motion and action. I believe this, so I'm gonna talk about it and preach that. Like that's why a lot of philosophers, like, people look up to them and study their work, because their thought processes on life were so intriguing that people invested a lot of their time in them. And I feel like that's like a kind of comes back to entrepreneurship too, is, how are you going to take care of yourself? What are you going to do good for this world? Kind of comes all down to philosophy, and all the way back to master vision, figuring out your master vision. What do you want to do? And like, people invest time into philosophers because their master vision got them to where they were meant to be.
What do you feel like is your master vision?
My master vision right now, using what I have to do good, staying true to helping 100,000 people with positivity by a certain year. Let's put it into action. I material manifestation, that studio.
Yeah.
We're gonna have our own studio, and we're putting that out there right now.
The studio's gonna be dope.
The studio's gonna be sweet.
Studio's gonna be dope.
That's all my master vision is.
We already have a studio right now.
Yeah.
But the new studio's gonna be dope.
I'm excited for it. I'm definitely excited for that.
What were you just saying though? Oh, what? And like, just find the success in the journey. We talked about this.
Yeah.
Just find the success in the journey though. Like, don't get too wrapped up in the numbers and everything. Just have success in the journey. Just each person you influence, just be grateful for, and like, know that's like the most awesome thing. Like, just having one person watch you is like the most awesome thing in the universe.
Having somebody believe in you is extremely underrated.
Yeah.
Like, all somebody needs in life.
Yeah. Just one person.
Just one person to believe in
And then
you.
when you get that team believing in you, that's when the real magic happens, and you're just like, you can change the world. Like, we can change the world right now.
I know.
I realize we can, but screw all that can, would, it's possible. We will.
We will change the world.
We will change the world, and we are changing the world, and we already have changed the world. We've already planted the seeds that are gonna grow beautiful flowers. I feel like Nick Sirianni or something. You
We're
remember
speaking
that?
facts right now.
Yeah, Nick Sirianni. We're about to beat the Bucks on Sunday.
I
wanted this podcast to be about sports, like in 2020 when I first started thinking about it, what it was gonna be.
For real.
But I don't
Very
think I've ever
interesting.
talked about sports on here except right now. So shout out the Beds. Go Beds. We're at Temple University right now recording this. Go Birds.
Got some new scenery here for
Go
the
Birds.
pod. Yeah, go Birds though. Real talk. Like, why not? I'm saying Birds. Come on.
I really think we're gonna win. Like, I just have a feeling we're gonna win.
Yeah, we're gonna
Putting it out there. I just have a feeling the Birds are gonna win this Sunday.
I was hoping Bama would win for Devonta, because if they won, Devonta would have turned up. I was saying that watching that.
It's crazy that him and Jalen Hurts are both on the Eagles. And like, when I watched that championship game in like 2018, like, I never would have thought they would both be on the Eagles. And like, I don't know. That just like made me think like, oh shit, like these college games, like you gotta watch, because these players could be like on the Birds one day. That's how I feel now.
Right.
Like, I don't know. And we might get Calvin Ridley. That'd be dope.
Yeah.
We just have 3 first-round picks too, so I'm super stoked about that. I think, like, I just want to see what we can do in the playoffs this year, but I'm really excited for next year. We got a lot of expectations for next year. I feel like
I'm just excited.
if we
for
have
the
a good
future
draft.
program.
Yeah,
Good things are coming. At least I hope so.
good things are coming.
Yeah. Go Birds, though. Real talk. Go Birds.
Go Birds.
This podcast was originated Philadelphia, Jersey,
Yeah,
East Coast.
East Coast.
I feel like a lot of networking that I've been doing lately shows the love I have for the East Coast. You know, meeting people across the nation and just chatting with people across the nation. And, you know, not many people on the East Coast.
So
Obviously.
you're like putting on for the East Coast, you feel like?
Yeah, yeah. Because it feels like always like
for the
West
city.
Coast. It's like California, you know.
Yeah,
All
sunshine
California.
and yeah.
Like Jersey, you know, Jersey, come on now.
Sunshine
New
and
York,
sunny
Boston.
soul.
What are you saying right now?
I said sunshine and sun your soul.
Sunshine and sunny soul.
And selling your soul.
And selling your soul.
Yeah.
Is that a song?
No, I just made it up.
Dude, we can have music podcasts. Too.
Yeah, where we just make music.
Yeah.
Music podcast.
Yeah.
Dawn FM. We were listening to the Weekend album before we started this. We almost listened to the whole album. It was getting dangerous. I was like, we gotta be careful. We gotta turn this shit off.
Yeah. We kept
Or
listening to that. We would not have been recording this.
Or yeah,
So
we'd
that
still
for
be
sure.
we'd still be bumping the Weekend's angelic voice.
Yeah. But don't get it twisted. You know, when this podcast concludes, we will be listening to that album.
Yeah. We'll have Abel on right away.
Yeah.
103.5.
I am excited for the future though. Like what we've been doing these past couple of days. Just just manifest it. Material, spiritual.
Everything's manifesting. Even yeah.
And some things come very fast to you, and some things take time.
That's what I was gonna say. It's so simple. Like this week, I really, and sometimes like I don't want to live life like this. Like I want to live life just free and not really have a plan.
Right.
But this week I went into life like, and I think this is how I should live. I get like so off track with ideas. But like, because I think this is how I should live, and I think a part of me like didn't want to live like that because I was just like rebellious against like the system or something, or like school or something. But I do think I should live a life of like structure where like I write stuff down and I make little checklists for myself and stuff like that. Like I really like that stuff, and this week I did that, and I felt like it's been like a really good productive week, and like I feel good, and like I just been staying on my goals and stuff like that, and I just feel like that's why it's been like a really good week, and like things have been manifesting just from stuff. Like when you write it, it's so easy. Like once you write it down, like that helps it manifest like so much quicker, and like it just helps you have that mindset and like
design.
That reminder. Yeah.
That's definitely a very good start for this pod. Was mindset design. And these past couple of days, I'm telling you, like I'm so proud of us for focusing on that mindset.
Yeah.
How do you want to go into 2022? What are you going to do with this year? You know, like what's going to be different? What good are you going to do for your social circle? What good are you going to do for the world?
Yeah.
Like, get to it. It's a slow progress though, but you got to work hard. Dreams demand hustle.
I think something you got to think about too is like, what do you want to contribute? Like, what you're here, you're part of this human collective.
Yeah.
Like, what do you?
I got a great thought on
There's
that.
so many people like here. Like, what do you? And you're unique. You're special. There's nobody in the world like you. Like, what do you want to add to this fucking shit we got going on here?
How do you want to be remembered when you're not here?
Yeah.
How are people going
Fuck
to
that. Like, how do you want to be known while you're here? Like, fuck when you're not gonna be able to experience. Like, how do you want to be known while you're here?
That's
you
true.
know?
And what you do for that
Yeah.
reflects onto how people think about you when you're gone.
Like when you meet people, like how do you want them to be like, oh, I heard them.
Who's this
I heard them
guy?
talking
Who's this guy? I don't
shit
like
about
that
that. I heard my buddy was talking shit about that dude. I heard he fucking farted in my, you know.
What's he up to? What's he
Or
up
do you
to?
want to be like, oh, like I've had people come up to me and be like, oh, you're in a photography, right? And like that's just so cool. For people like just to know me for that, just know me for something I love doing and like art and stuff like that.
Because then you go your separate ways, and the last reflection they had on you was, hey, he's the photographer.
Yeah.
You know, that's
That's how I feel about my pop-up too. Like I remember him for like having the camera and stuff, and like I definitely think he likes being remembered for that. Like, and he even
for sure.
he was an interesting person because he like I guess we all think about it, but like he thought about dying like a lot before he died. I feel like so like he like wrote stuff like on like how like he wanted his funeral to be and stuff. Like I feel like once he became like a grandparent, I feel like he started to feel like old and like oh shit, like I gotta like get ready. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I completely understand that.
So like, what was I just saying?
Wait, Papa?
Before that, well, like why did I bring him up? Like what were we talking about that made me bring him up?
I don't know. We're
I do
shooting
this all the
out
time.
so many thoughts right now.
I do this all the time. Yeah,
I
my
get so
pop-up.
invested.
My pop up. Oh yeah, but yeah, he's just like known for like photography and stuff. But yeah, he said like he just wanted to be remembered like with a smile.
Being remembered. How do
And
you
like
want to be remembered?
like no one wants like when you pass away, like no one wants to be like, oh crying, I miss it so much. Like just remember us for the positive moments and like for the memory. And that's how I feel like just with life in general. Like I had a great summer. I miss my friends and stuff. And like the memories I made, but like I'm just grateful like it happened. Like why
be
mope?
grateful that
Why
it
mope like
happened.
right now, like in this new experience, like in like this time I'm living right now, I have right now. Why mope about some experiences I already lived? Because like that shit's over. Like it's in the past.
Right,
Like just be here right now and be grateful to be here. Because one day I could be. I know we're gonna be nostalgic about our first podcast we did and stuff like this. Is a fucking
this is it.
fantastic
This is history in the making.
historical moment right here.
Yeah, this is history in the making, and I'm all about that. Just like the moments that you're in, just be so grateful for them because it's so much fun what you're doing, what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
All these baby steps that you're taking, like I have so much fun thinking about that because when we get to where we want to be in life, we'll look back on moments like this.
Yeah, I was in the Poconos and I was on this trail, and there was snow out there, of course, around this time of year, and like you on the trail you could just see everyone's footsteps and stuff, and I was like walking and I was just like, wow, this is like such a great reminder of like life and the journey and just it's all one step at a time, like the metaphorical step, like anything you're doing with like any goals and stuff, like just going to the gym each day and just stuff like anything. Each step you take, it's just one step at a time, and like it's kind of corny like saying it, but like it's just like one step at a time.
And it is
like,
corny, but it's so true. You're taking those steps, and steps build up to get to where you want to be.
And I saw this. So much fun. It was like a comment on a YouTube video, and I actually like wrote it down, and it was like it's so easy to achieve success when you're actually doing what you love, and you can find your success in just being able to record a podcast or being able to edit a video and create a video and find your success in that and not find your success in the external validation that you might get from the video or something like that, because that's what will keep you like in the grind and in the process longer, just loving what you do and finding your success by being able to do what you're doing right now. And so many people like fall off in the process because they're trying to achieve some outward goal that's going to come like way down the line, and like they don't see the results right away, so they give up. But when you love what you do, that's going to keep you going to the point where you're eventually going to have those greater goals down the line. So just love what you do, love the process.
Yeah, why you're doing it. You have to think about why you're doing it.
Yeah,
that's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Why are you putting on these steps? Where do you want to go?
Yeah. That's a great thing to think about, is what's your why? What wakes you up in the morning? What makes you do all this stuff? If you're in the matrix, like what's gonna make you grind through that work you don't want to do at that job you don't want to go and clock in at, like what greater purpose? Because that's why people are so like lost and feel hopeless and stuff, because they don't have that greater purpose. And like you need to find like what you want to do with your life, and it's hard. It's really hard out here, but you just gotta keep fighting and stay optimistic and find your why and find a greater purpose, the hobby, something fun to do, something to spend your time doing.
Yeah, you give life meaning and things will become very clear for you.
It's crazy. I feel this energy just with the podcast and everything, but I had a dream and I feel like I was like in front of like a big crowd, and I just like screamed like, we came here to create, not to work. And like it was almost like a revolutionary idea. I felt like in the dream, like just like in that kind of energy, just like we came here to create, not to work. Like
right.
So I really feel that.
It's a lovely dream.
Yeah,
love
it was
that.
crazy.
I would love
I've been
to
having
dream
a
that.
lot of weird dreams recently. Like, I don't know. I just feel some spiritual, like, energy heightened just with my awareness in my dreams where I'm not super, like, lucid yet, but I'm starting to be in the dream and be like, something's up. Like, it's weird. Like, cause it's
Right.
weird because you would feel like if you're like something's up, you'd feel like you'd become lucid, but it's not like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm in the dream and I'm still fooled by the dream. But
That's
I
some,
feel
that's
like
some
something's up.
Inception stuff right there.
Yeah, it's like weird.
Dream within
it's
a
really
dream.
weird. Yeah, and then I've been waking up and doing my reality checks, and
Wow.
it's weird. But I made a video about this. Like I'm starting to feel like, not starting to feel like, I'm starting to like understand that this is the real dream. This is the real illusion.
Right.
And even when you're in the dream state, like it's all one. Like I don't know, it's weird.
Yeah.
Very weird.
Yeah, that definitely reminded me of Inception right there.
Yeah.
And how scary would that be if we were able to dream within our own dream? Like, what can we accomplish?
You just like blew my mind.
Really think about it.
Oh my
Like,
god.
think about,
Because I was like, do I have dreams in my own dreams? Because
You do.
thinking.
Everybody does at some point in their
Do
life.
you?
Having a dream within their dream. And there's
Something-
times where it's like
Maybe
scary.
maybe. Because I had a dream, and this was recently too. I've been talking about my up, like something about him, like his energy. I mean, he's always been around, like since he's passed. He passed when I was like, he passed in 2014, so it's been a little bit. But he was in my dream like on Saturday night or Sunday night, and in the dream, I was like, you use dreams to communicate with me, right? Have you ever heard that concept of like people that have passed
Yeah.
like use dreams to
Yeah.
like communicate? And I was talking to him in the dream, not aware it was a dream, and I was like, you use dreams to communicate with me sometimes, right? And he kind of like, I think like brushed it off or like kind of like didn't say anything about it.
Oh my gosh.
And then
this
it
is
wasn't until I
incredible.
woke up, and then not even like
I
right when I
love
woke
that.
up, but like 5 minutes after I woke up, I was kind of like, I'm gonna like brush my teeth or something, and like it just like came back to me. Like it's always when like that the next day when I'm doing something weird, the dream just downloads back, and it's so weird, and it just comes to you. But it's like it's weird how it comes to you because it's like you kind of forget, but it's like it comes back. It's not like say I did something right now, and then like I went home and I thought back of it, and it's like, oh, I remember. It's like you kind of, but like it's not like I never forgot about it. I just wasn't thinking about it. It like feels like you totally forget about it, and then it just like snaps back. Which is weird about dreams.
Yeah. I've always thought about having a dream journal.
Yeah.
Just like wake up like as soon as
I
you open
used
your
to.
eyes, you can still think about it, write it down.
Yeah. That helps you.
And because I feel like a lot of people do that. If you really want to,
That helps find the meaning too.
Yeah. If you want to understand what dreams are, I feel like
Yeah.
having that dream journal and
Yeah.
studying what you were dreaming about is crucial for that.
It's
Imagine.
gonna be. Should I even say that? I'm not even gonna say.
No,
it.
you gotta say it now. You gotta say it now. No, you don't have to.
I feel like I have a lot of dreams, like, with like.
You can say it.
Just like romantic like situations, like not
Yeah, we
even
all
like
do.
not
We
yeah,
all do.
yeah. So maybe me putting it out there is like gonna help people relate, but not even like sex or anything, just like romantic like situations. Like I'll like, I don't know,
Hell yeah.
I don't even know.
I
Yeah,
feel like everybody does that.
yeah.
You know, but it's like nobody wants to say that out loud.
Yeah,
So what do I
that's
say
what I
out
was
loud?
thinking. I was like, how many dreams are out there that people like are just like afraid to like say something because no one wants to be like, hey Evan, you were in my dream and this, you know,
Yeah.
because you think
It takes
like,
a lot of
oh,
courage
fuck,
to say that
you
to
know?
somebody. Like,
yeah.
hey, you were in my dream last
You were in my dream and we were cuddling or something like that. Like I've actually had someone say that to me before when we were just like
Just like
not cuddling,
Wow.
totally not cuddling. But so that was interesting.
Yeah, that's
And the fact that
funny.
person's looking back on it now, this is like years ago. The fact that person said that to me, that should have been like Wesley slide on it, like that. Like that should have been like how I took it,
Yeah.
but I did not
We're
take
we're
it.
living life with no regrets. 2022. Just
No
don't put yourself in a
regrets.
situation that you're gonna regret,
Yeah.
and you'll be fine. That's the only way to
Oh,
go
man.
about it.
Yeah,
Don't put yourself in a situation that you'll regret. That's
Yeah.
how you live life with no regrets.
All right, we're coming up on 100 or not 100, an hour and 5 minutes.
An hour and
So,
5.
Yeah.
You got a lot of good thoughts in
So-
that hour and 5.
I mean,
Yeah, I'm
I
hour
feel
and
like we
4.
could end it here. I'm just grateful for doing the pod. Thank you everybody for watching. Thank you, Evan. It's been real.
Pleasure. It was a good time.
Peace out.